Well, I'll speak very directly from the heart and soul about what it's going to take to end all the madness in the world in a few years. That's all it will take. End all of it forever. It's written about in the Bible. It's been thought about by every tribe in human history. But the fact is, there is no human history or tribe. It's like J. Krishnamurti or any great mystic or any great spiritual person has always said, you can't understand life inside time. You have to have the courage, such as my friend Philippe here, a great soldier, to step outside of your reality, your safety, and do what is right. Spirituality, rightness requires stepping outside of time. It's a very brave act, and it's a very simple act, and for true mystics or spiritual people throughout history, you're born that way. And the world beats you and aggrieves you in every way, all day, every day. They're on your sound senses, pummeling you, beating you, scourging you, and you're okay with it. So for me, as an example today, to show how the process works, I'll say that from birth to the present, I'm not here. I was never here. This never happened. You see what I'm saying? In our consciousness, spiritual people, we're not our body or our problems or the solution to our problems. We live through all the madness quietly, effectively, because we can. And we don't know how brave, how true, how powerful, how decent we are until we step aside from the entirety of it. Become quiet, contrite, real and true, and honest to ourselves. And no matter who you are, in that great movie, Green Mile, the star who was a godlike figure said that they kills you every day, boss. They kills you with your own love. In other words, you always have to make decisions between this and that and the other. And someone will think you like this one better than that one, and it's quiet and it's there and it builds. I'm sure Jesus Christ in his day was, they certainly say in the Bible, he was judged to be, he was spending time in the pubs, whatever they were called then, and so forth. But that's where the people are. I mean, you're not high and mighty when you're high and mighty. I am high and mighty. In the sense of spirituality, there is, I am illumined. My dear buddy Philippe is illumined. But it's hard for someone like him who has to do the right thing in horrible circumstances to ever even think of that, because there's tragedy. Daily, every day for many years. So you ride through it like Philippe does with a quiet heart and determination to keep going forward, although you are provided no joy, no outlet, but you keep doing it and doing it and doing it. I've been doing this for these many years, and I'm going to download my case today, which will be the same as your case, and we'll allow ourselves to be free of the madness around us. There is a God. The world is an illusion. I have never thought I was my body or my problems or the solution to my problems, because I've never been here. I don't know what I look like in a mirror. So now, just recently, I figured that out. People ask me questions about this or that. I have no clue. The ordinary things of life, I don't know how I get through them, and somehow I do, because most of the time, my body is like a 2,000-pound wetsuit. I'm just locked because I drift in and out of time. So something has to be done. I somehow do that, but I have to force myself into this body to do things. And it's a lot of work, because you're having visions all day. You're experiencing other realms all day through the night. You know, when you sit quietly and you think you just drift off for a moment, and you know, look at the clock on the wall, or it's, oh my God, that was 20 minutes or 2 hours or 4 hours sometimes. And you don't know what happened. You step outside of time. My buddy Greg and I did some things yesterday, and then he fell out because he doesn't sleep. He works around the clock for everyone here, and then 2 or 3 minutes later he wakes up, but he didn't fall asleep. I felt it's a difference between someone sleeping, you can feel it, and someone leaving their body. So all you need to do in meditation is leave your body. In other words, become very quiet, and you'll have all the rest you'll ever need. My buddy Greg can do this. Takes these quick naps no matter what and where, because he works all day. And so you don't need, the point with that is your stamina. You don't need physical strength or emotional or psychological. You don't need a cup of coffee. You just need to leave your body from time to time, because this is the illusion, and you are a great volunteer soldier to be here. If you're a spiritual being in the world today, you volunteered for this mission to end all the corrupt nature of the human drama. It has to end. It's been spoken of in the great visions of the great mystics throughout history. Well, this is the time, this is the place. And I will, if you would allow me, describe and discuss with us together in the holy presence of our Father God how it's to be done. And it will prove to you that you've done so much of the work already without knowing it. Just being here for a spiritual being is a great tragedy. There's no reason for it. We get nothing from it, for it. We give to it because we are giving, because that's what spirituality is. It's a giving nature. But if you step aside from the conditioned experience of being a person in the world at a time and a place, you step outside of that, there's no giving, it's just a sense of openness. If you're enclosed in a body, then you're giving, because that would be one of the natural spiritual senses. But they're all one sense. It's an infinite expression of God, that which we call the universe. And there are many universes. And they are the infinite expression of God, which you only experience by stepping outside of the madness of this world. And if we can, as a group of people, whether it's 100,000, 300 million, it doesn't matter to anyone or anything, because there are no 100,000 or 300 million, and there is no Robert Rosenberg. That I know so clearly. So somehow today I'm given permission to discuss these things for all of our benefit. I was moved through all the horrors of this world throughout this life in every conceivable manner and condition. And I volunteered for it in so many ways because I am selfless. I won't say no to God or my fellow man, as it were. So I do understand everything in this world, even though I never needed to. If you're looking for a great spiritual teacher, I was born with it. As all of us, I'm speaking for all of us, but I'm using my identity, which is I'm given to do today, which is the hardest thing in the world I've ever had to do, is to say me or I. It's very, very difficult for a spiritual person to be anyone, because we're no one. That's not a weakness. That's identifying with God. It's very quiet. And from that, I can step aside from this 2,000-pound behemoth here to just be nothing. I could take one deep breath, and it's as good as 12 hours of rest or sleep or prayer. There is a God. We are His radiance. We're more relevant than everything anyone has ever thought or dreamt or believed in of this world. All the conditioned madness of this world is true madness, and it's demonic. The world is a conscious being, the constructs of it. There is nothing solid. We're just here to be quiet with one another. If we can do that, the walls will fade. Into a lightscape, a seascape, a sunscape, a starscape. If it takes only air to hold the stars in place, and it seems so powerful to us, why shouldn't it take only kindness to hold our heart and soul and our dignity in place? Even while we're here, amidst the madness, the cruelty, the violence, the vileness, the corrupt nature of humanity. The point is not blaming anyone or anything, but stepping back from it into this state of timelessness through prayer, through meditation. You don't need to fast or anything to know God. All the yoga conditioning and all, it doesn't matter. None of it matters. You don't have to sit a certain way. You don't have to get on your knees to pray. God simply is. We step aside from the whole illusion, and it's gone in a puff. We're in line with God. We're simplifying prayer to its factotum, to its basic reality. It's union with God. That's what yoga means. It means union. Just a sweetness and a kindness, and yet it's brighter than the sunlight. There is a God. We are free by understanding what's been spoken thus far. This is how the world will end. It doesn't matter who knows or doesn't know. Again, that's part of the corrupt nature of humanity. It is a conscious being, a beast. But it has no power if you understand what was said. I've always understood what was said, and I've allowed myself and guided to put into every position there is in the world. So I know how simple it is to step aside from it. So just sit quietly in your chair in the evening. Talk to God. God will talk to you. If you want to do something spiritual, just know it will happen. You don't need special preparation for anything. You need to express God, to heal someone, to listen to someone. Just know that it will be there in that very same moment, always. I myself am very, very tired of having to be Robert Rosenberg, which means to be nobody, which means to be this person walking in and out of a room or saying hello or this or that. I'm very tired of it. I'm saying this for all of us. It's over for the dark force, the dark network. In other words, they're all against you, but they're not like together behind all the dark beings. Like we say, the devil is a conscious beast. But if you know that, you don't react to it, but it doesn't mean that even the devil is tempted by being the devil. So I'm saying they're coming at you in different directions, and sometimes they're orchestrated by a being behind them and so forth. For me, it's so silly to talk about this, but this is a reality, and you will see this. When you get very quiet, you'll see that the world is perpetrated by a group of beings in those conical dark hats and the robes and doing prayers and candles in some kind of hell, like to perpetuate this madness. And you'll see that, but that is nothing. I say that laughingly, but it's true. And if you're locked into the world, it will affect you, and it will affright you, and it will astonish you. But if you believe only in a kind heart, a warm and decent smile, and a hello, then that's all you'll need to walk through this. It's always been that the kindest people, the gentlest people, the sweetest people are in deepest despair because they're kind, decent, and true inside. They don't want to hurt anyone else. They don't want to afflict anyone else with their conditions. So the spiritual person of the world, including myself, lives a lifetime of being kind, decent, and being present for people who are completely lost. And I'm saying we're not going to be lost anymore. We're going to jointly, prayerfully, in that very same hour, the early evening, just about dusk, experience each other in prayer, along with all those who are in prayer. And the light will pass through our mind. In Buddhism, it's always been called one mind. It's just an openness, a very small aperture in your heart. You get quiet, all this will disappear. We're not this body. I'm being very honest, I have never experienced myself as this body. And when you have some sort of injury or sickness or whatever, and everyone wants to make you be that, it amazes me. And it amazes me how completely everyone leaves me all the time in whatever I have to do, because I represent God. So they're brought away from me in my hour of temptation, which I don't care about because I handle it. But I'm simply saying for all of us that this is the hour of temptation for the whole world that was spoken of by prophecy and foretold by holy beings, that this hour of temptation would come upon the whole world. And we who are spiritual will rise right through it. Like the early morning dew turning into a soft haze of glimmering dewdrops upon the grasses and fields. We're just going to rise up to meet him in the air, our Father and our friend, His Holiness, our God. Yourself is God. It's not someone else, it's not somewhere else. You don't have to do anything. You owe no one money, allegiance, or time. We simply are spiritual presences in hell. And if we know that fearlessly, then we know that. And it isn't good enough that Robert Rosenberg is happy, or Philippe, or Greg. That's not good enough. All those that we love and care for, my teachers, my friends, our moms, all those in pain and trauma around the world who are in pain and trauma around the world, it has to end, and it ends spiritually. It ends by knowing this need not be. This need not be. It is that simple to judge the world. Step away quietly, reverently, humanly, in your consciousness, and don't accept part in the madness anymore. I won't. And it's very hard because I don't want to tell certain friends and so forth that I can't do this or that and tell them the reason. I always make excuses because I love people. I don't want to hurt their feelings. And everyone wants me to have dinner with them. I don't want a dinner. I don't even want their love or friendship. I just want them happy. I don't need, I don't want, I don't desire. I'm saying this for all of us. Say this inside yourself. This is a spiritual empowerment time where I'm expressing this for you to rise up. And I apologize for using the word I, me, Robert Rosenberg, because there is no such person, but I'm expressing a lifetime of this tragedy of not even being allowed to be who I am, even though I'm not who I am. And you're not who you are in this world. You are the soul and dignity of Almighty God. And you're here to end all the madness. It's an illusion. You walk away from it in consciousness, in prayer, by simply quieting yourselves, your senses. That's why I go home in my chair in a way where there's no people or noise or movement. I just get there's nothing to react to, and when people are there for me and respond to me, I'm there for them and respond to them. So when God talks to me, I become quiet, still. Nothing moves. That's who we are. We are the quiet. And all this will end if we can just quiet ourselves, still our senses, and know that we can end it for everyone. It is a fabrication. It is a lie. This is hell. To be caught up in this tragedy. Illumination means stepping right through, spreading right through your sense, your dignity, your honor, your integrity. It's a sense. It's cloud-like, and yet it's serene and dignified and more powerful than a locomotive, brighter than the sun, and kinder than daylight. Let yourself be illumined. Let me illumine you. Let you illumine whoever, whenever you choose. We are the illumined of God. There's no how to do it or way. Simply know that all these tragic circumstances of life, late afternoon tiredness and so forth, add a little ritual to your life and understand that you're supposed to drift off onto the endless and the blue from time to time through your day. And I'll admit again for you, so you admit for you that you've never been here. Because as soon as you step out of it, it's an unending purity and wonder and dream. And I don't want you to be alone. Trust God 1,000 times more than you ever have. And you'll feel Him, you'll feel me, you'll feel the holy ones, the teachers. The Christ-like beings that fill the entirety of the universe. They're here for you. They are you. The sacred ones, the ancient ones, they're your friends. If you can come to this, then those in hospital beds will rise out through this. And if anyone doesn't choose, that's okay. Let there be time no longer, that the mystery of God should be finished. In other words, we understand this collectively together in this world at this time, the next several years, whatever, and we can fold the whole thing up. Like an old moth-beaten blanket and put it up in a closet somewhere. It's moth-bitten blanket. It's over, it's tired, it's this mortal dream, this whole circumstance and the news and this, isn't it tiring? I never talk about politics or society with people ever because everyone has this or that thought about it because they think it's real. How the hell can you think it's real? Are you that stupid, everyone in the world? It's not here. So this period of grace, whether it takes you 5 minutes, a second, 40 years, do it tonight, not tomorrow. There'll be no tomorrow. That's something that was. There's only God and you. You're one person. You are the personableness of God while you're in the world. But there is no world. I've lived through all this madness and I've never been here. I don't know how I've carried this thing along, but I have. And it's been horrible. And I love so many, and all the ones that I love I can't be connected with or other. I have a relative in a bed dying, I have this and that. I don't want to see it anymore. And I just have to, they turn their dial up a little bit to realize, oh, I'm not in bed sick, I'm not going to die. When I was in bed dying, I didn't give a give a hoot one way or the other. It didn't matter. And then I realized I had to do this, so God opened up infinity for me, and infinity for all these many years, so I could see that this doesn't, that I had to be the one to express this. So I'm expressing this for you, for me, for my mom and your mom. This doesn't have to be. It's having some guts to trust God, because God trusts you with His mission. So let's not fall asleep. He'll be with you. I will be with you. You are a powerful soul, not a physical structure. Forget your name and your birth. Love your mom, your dad, your puppy. Love every good person. You don't have to express it humanly, it just is. And this is God's blanket that will cover the whole world very shortly. You understand that you'll rise to the crisp morning air with it. And there'll be no more world, no more human senses, no more time, no more places, no more tragedies, no more pain or murders or rapes, no more. No more on my watch. It's over. Speaking for all spiritual people ever lived, we know these things. We absolutely know them, but we're so kind that we keep drifting through lifetime after lifetime, hoping someone will understand that we try to express it in 1,000 different ways and new methods and kinds of prayer and healing methods, and it doesn't matter anymore. It can't be. The only thing it can be is what I knew as a little boy. It's not here. It's an illusion. You change it not throwing a shot put or winning a race or being with the right man or woman. And I'm not denying any of that. You love, you love, you love. It's like the whole churches are built on, don't do this, hide your impulses. Forget all that. You want to have a drink, have a drink. If you want to kiss, kiss. You want to love, love. If you don't want to, don't. But never forget God. And then all this, we're very complex, we're very highly intelligent beings, aren't we? So a lot of stuff will move through us, a lot of circumstances. and people and places and times as we rise through this madness with our presence. And the presence will be like a drug and put the bad ones to sleep. We don't need to go down the street with a placard or believe a certain thing or vote a certain way. I'm for everything that's good and against everything that's bad. Great. The world's an illusion. What's the difference? There's always been these circumstances. There have always been these circumstances. There is no circumstance in the continuity of life, which is spiritual, which is eternal, which is outside of time. So a simple prayer at the bedside in the evening, our Father which art in heaven, etc., etc. Just keep putting yourself in a ritual state of being a free human being, not afraid. You'll spend a lot of time alone in prayer. Very simply. I put all these details in 2 books, After Time and Island of Hearts. So if you need a friend with you, get those somehow. And outside of that, you are God incarnate. There's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing weak about you. So you don't argue with them. You walk away and walk away. No big deal. And when you see a good person like Philippe, you give them your heart and your guts and whatever else you got as a man, as a person, as a soul, and say, hey, there's nothing wrong with you. Rise. You're whole. See what I'm saying? It's very natural. You don't have to study this or that, the other. Just walk with God for the rest of time. God will walk with you through time, to timelessness, to this great open space. Then we walk into the open clearing, and at the very end we'll see something. And that'll be the last time we'll ever look behind us. You are the illumined. You'll change the whole world by moving beyond it in consciousness in the very near future. Know this, and then these different types of conditions that will conflict with your soul's desire throughout the day, they'll all make sense to you because you're fighting. It's me. Sometimes the walls will disappear. I fell through a door once, and all of a sudden it was like 6 hours later the next morning, and things collapsed together. So I can see all eternity, all the great spiritual beings and blessed ones from eternity. They're always here with me, with my mom and my dad and your mom and dad. This is madness. So the enemies you think are enemies or not, or friends might not be. Just walk beyond it all. Give your grace and dignity to every decent person you meet, and know that you're not trapped anymore. And that's it. And we fold it all up very quickly. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Escolta. Thank you for listening.